Hey everybody, it's Rob. We're just about to get started with this week's episode. Less than 10 minutes left. While you got a couple of minutes here, why don't you go check out odanthem.com. It's where you can find everything OD Anthem, including the merch store, the podcast, and all of the videos. Open up a new tab.
Anchor.fm/OD Anthem is the place where you can get direct links to all the podcatchers you use to listen to our show every week.
Did you know we record every episode live on Facebook? Of course you do. But make sure that you're liking the page and turning on notifications so you get notified when we go live.
We make a ton of video content between the podcast, the short films, Heretics. YouTube.com/OD Anthem is the place for it all.
And of course you can find me on any social network at Robert N. Cheek.
And me at LegendCB5.
And you can find the podcast at OD Anthem on all your social networks. It takes so long to load. That's the problem.
So, there just so happened to be a lot of things that happened in Baltimore for this past week.
Oh, yeah.
So, should we start in order, or should we start with the big ticket items?
I mean, like, here, off the top thing, Corey's been saying for, I don't know, every year, every episode of this podcast, don't get in the harbor. It's a bad idea. By the way, it's swimmable and fishable by 2020, which, by my calculations, is
tomorrow.
2 days from now. Oh, yeah, 2 days from now as we record it. Tomorrow as you're listening. And last week, a woman fell into the harbor and died.
Yeah.
So I'm not thinking swimmable, fishable by 2020 is gonna.
Wouldn't it be hilarious if it was Stephanie Rawlings Blake?
I mean, it would be better.
I didn't get a name. I'm just hoping it was.
Come on.
I'm gonna prove these motherfuckers wrong. Start jumping in the water.
Wonder what about what?
Well, we haven't seen or heard of a girl, and...
Oh, Ma, come on, seriously?
Not that we would think that, but, we want grandchildren.
Get it first. Need girl, then we get kids.
Grandkids. They're already talking about grandkids. Don't even mention that when she gets here.
Of course. But I'll be thinking about it. Oh, is that her?
Who else is it gonna be?
Oh, go and get it.
I'm going.
Oh, shit.
Well, that's a nice greeting.
Sorry, man.
So excited to finally meet your family.
I know, me too. Listen, before we go in,
What is it?
No.
well,
The preview.
you know basically everything about me.
Well, at this point, I would hope so.
Yeah, but, my parents, the reason I haven't introduced you to them is because,
What is it?
well, they're different than you and me.
What do you mean?
Well, listen, you're great.
Are you ashamed of me, Tommy? Is that why I've never met them?
No, not ashamed. Never ashamed. Opposite of ashamed. It's just that,
Superman?
yeah.
What about it?
Well, my parents are Batix, like, really, really, really intense about Batman.
So?
So they expect me to date and marry a nice Batman girl.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Look, I know they're going to love you. It's just that once they get to know you, then we can ease them into the whole Superman thing.
Alright, Tommy. Alright, I just wish you would have given me some kind of warning.
Trust me, they're going to be so happy to meet you, I promise.
As long as I believe in their hero.
Please don't do this now, Steph.
Do what, Tommy? I'm not doing anything at all.
Then why do I get the feeling that I'm in trouble here?
I don't know. Why don't you ask Batman about it?
Shit.
Are you going to keep her standing on the porch all night, Tommy? Invite her in already.
I was going to, Ma.
Tommy, she's beautiful. A real gift from
Pop,
Anthem.
she's right here.
It's lovely to meet you both.
You too, dear. Please, please come in. Dinner's ready.
Great, I'm starving.
Suddenly I'm not so hungry.
Oh, Tommy, you're such a joker.
You actually have some sort of really weird intestinal cancer that only seems to be caused by people who swim in shit. Like swim in a river of shit.
Yeah.
And then like just like the moment just sort of like hits me, like flashback style, just like whoosh.
Fish.
I'm like
Smack.
I'm back at Oregon Ridge, jumping in a lake, going like, I love the water.
Never put it in your mouth. Never put it in your mouth. Why
Well,
would
I
you
never
do
thought
that?
about it until just that second, when all of a sudden it's just like, yeah, you got about 3 weeks because you have
Advanced bowel cancer?
shit creek cancer.
I feel like though that it's not just that.
It's the type of cancer we've only seen from kids in Flint.
It whole separate issue about.
By the way, it's still not fixed.
Not fixed.
Just by the way, it's still not fixed.
And
and they don't have water coming their way anymore because they're. I mean, there's a small degree of pride that I feel when our men's basketball team is blowing out like.
You mean when
Poland by 70 points or
when
whatever?
a team of professional basketball players beats a bunch of young men from a country who occasionally play basketball. Yeah. It's the Generals versus the Globetrotters,
Right.
over the course of a summer. Yes,
That dream team though, with
the
MJ,
92 dream, yes, the 92 Barcelona.
Oh man,
dream team.
that was great.
No, that was literally Globetrotters because they were doing behind the back passes. No look, and the team from Poland just like. What game are we playing? I don't even know if this is basketball.
Wait a minute, isn't that technically traveling?
NBA
We
rules.
don't call it here. we don't abide by that rule in America.
He literally picked up the ball and ran from midcourt. It's MJ. He's allowed to do that. It's okay.
I think the one thing I noticed, and this is my only take on this, because I don't get into the false patriotism, and I don't get into the desire for America to win fencing or anything like that.
Right. Yeah.
Because, I mean, there's some sports I just don't care about. This week on episode number 300 of the podcast, we got some goodies for you to celebrate. We also got to talk about sports ball. The Patriots dynasty is over. The Ravens will play the Titans, and we'll talk a lot about the other NFL playoff matchups. And for your consideration, quick little Golden Globes recap from Corey and Corey alone, because he's the only one who watched the thing. And in general news, Weinstein charged with 2 more counts on 2013 assaults, Bolton to testify to Congress if needed. The Hornberger method is in effect for generals in Trump's army, and just a whole lot more that we got to get to here. All that and more coming up right now on the Anthem podcast. Sparta. I've only been waiting 300 episodes for that to happen. This is Corin. This is the Anthem podcast.
I'm so glad you're alone. What the hell,
Rob
man?
is nowhere to be found.
What the hell? What is going on here?
The important part is people can still hear you.
Yes, that's good. That is the important part.
They don't need to see what's going on here.
Literally was working just 2 seconds ago. And I'm not even on my own screen. I'll work on that. Anyway, so thank you for joining us. Welcome to episode 300 of the Anthem podcast.
Where everything works flawlessly all the time.
Jesus Christ on a cross. Anyway, so reboot that. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to episode 300 of the Anthem podcast, coming to you from the hashtag OTA LA studios, high above the 110 freeway in downtown Los Angeles, California. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you for listening on your podcatcher of choice. The easiest way to do it, again, anchor.fm/OTheAnthem. You want to listen on iTunes or Apple Podcasts, you can go there. You want to listen on Google, you want to listen anywhere. It's all right there, easy enough for you to get. And yeah, I don't see why you wouldn't if you're trying to figure out where to listen to our podcast on.
I figured out the problem. So the problem is that the camera's deactivated while we were running the intro video, and it's not starting back up. So I'll fix that in a second. But just remember, you can.
Have you tried plugging it in and plugging?
Oh my gosh. As a reminder, you can find everything. You can find The Anthem at The Anthem on Twitter and Instagram, Facebook.com/The Anthem. You all check out all the videos at YouTube.com/The Anthem, and everything The Anthem related at TheAnthem.com.
Yes, indeed. So, do you want me to just pontificate?
Yeah, just go for a bit. I'll chime in. I'm the ghost sitting on the right-hand side.
So this is episode number 300 for us. That's 300 consecutive weeks with episodes. Small round of applause, I think, is deserved for this moment. Thank you. We have decided to celebrate with some new things. First of all, we will have a brand new website, hopefully up tomorrow, assuming that everyone plays nice and allows this transfer to happen quickly.
Assuming that we don't have the same problems with the website that we're having with, the podcast.
Yeah, the actual show that we produce on a weekly downer.
Jesus, yes.
Have you tried unplugging it?
No, so it's starting up.
Oh, is it?
Just mine takes forever to start up. I don't know why.
Just magically Rob will appear. In addition, there is. Are you trying to come up with something?
Wait, no, I was going to the. It's a new website sound effect.
In addition, we have a new T-shirt to celebrate all this time that we spent in Los Angeles, which is now, believe it or not, longer than we spent in the the studio deep below the earth in Parkville, Maryland.
But as we saw in the old episodes there at the weight screen, I don't know how Corey feels about not being at Parkville because, long-lasting memories of smoking while doing the episode.
Show, yeah.
But to be fair, if we were going, 2.5 hours like we did sometimes, maybe.
Well, we had to do the Patreon things before, too.
Oh, that's right.
So it was like an extra half hour beforehand where we were doing like the pre-show.
I'm going to add it back in. I'm just adding it back in.
Creating it
Just
again.
ignore me. Yeah, we're doing it. We got this.
So a brand new T-shirt honoring downtown LA is going to be available. It's a really snazzy little thing.
I'm getting one, by the way.
Listing all the streets here in downtown LA, much like in the style of the John, Paul, Ringo, and George shirts you used to see and stuff like that.
Only more streets than Beatles.
Yeah, way more streets than Beatles. But I like it a lot. I think it's cool. We also realized that Spreadshirt decided to open up their platform a lot more. So there are going to be options for every single one of our designs and a whole bunch of new different apparel. Ooh, there's a little bit of Rob.
Hey!
Taking up my space.
Sorry, let's ignore the man behind the screen. All right.
So nice of you to join us finally.
Yeah, there we go. Let me get... I think the size problem, but this will work for now. We're in.
It'll be okay. So the Baltimore Corner shirt,
Sorry.
It's my little child.
What if I was this tall? Hey, Dad. Are we doing the podcast now?
I shall call him Mini-Me. Oh, Vern Troyer. Pour one out for Vern Troyer. So all the t-shirt designs and stuff like that we had before, which we always wanted to make as open as possible, just didn't want to like. It was a lot of work to like go through and individually add items. And
you used to make every single item yourself.
Yeah, I used to have to go through single-handedly and create all the items. Now it's a lot easier to like sort of batch it across an entire line, and that's what we're gonna do. So if you want a Baltimore Corner sweatshirt, go check it out on the new Oh the Anthem website with the new Oh the Anthem store.
Yeah.
We,
and
of course, have to update the Oh the Anthem store because I was originally doing it with all the T-shirts we designed, and then I'm like, what's all this?
Yay, Spreadshirt, thank you. But a little heads up would have been nice on that, actually. So
they probably did send me an email, and they just like they just put it as like something like you're gonna want to check this out as like the subject line. And I'm just like delete.
Don't need that.
Definitely not something I'm gonna want to check out. Why would I? Why would I ever want to check out anything?
Oh wait, let's check out the most important screen that we have. Nope. Not even close to working. What are we going to do? All right, we'll stick with this. This is fun. Oh, so you guys didn't even see that on the program. I'm just checking it out in studio mode here. Let's get out of that. But not to overstate that it's not just the Spreadshirt store. Although there's a lot of really cool stuff on there. And now that you can kind of do it yourself, I think that people will be able to find like, you know what? I don't like black. I don't like white. What else you guys got? Well, hey, check out this design on a pink T-shirt.
That's the other thing. It opens up colors as well. So I'm going to, as part of my process of getting the website up over the next 24 hours, I'm going to be going through and selecting which ones make sense for different designs. Because we designed certain shirts for black and certain shirts for white. Shirts that have white type do not look good on shirts that are like light gray.
Yeah.
So you got to like delete those. But I mean, like Rob also made the point. If they want to buy white on a white shirt. Who am I to stop them?
If you want some kind of terrible design,
maybe it'll be some sort of Supreme thing where like they sell out all of a sudden.
Yeah. And I do think that we should do just a logo by itself. You get a nice polo with the logo on it.
That's definitely going up soon. That goes on top of. Did we ever talk about the T-shirts for your books and stuff like that too?
I think it was talked about when we talked about the books, and it's been so long since I released a book. Wait, I had it right here because we had to pull up a link. June 2019.
It's like 6 months ago.
Yeah. But I'm just used to December. Usually I release books in December. But I think I had 2 last year, I want to say. I think I released 2 last year. Working on a book of poetry now, though. Branching out, so.
Nice. Look at you, Sylvia Plath.
Hopefully I don't end up with my head in the oven. But yeah. Oh, the point I wanted to make, though, is that not just the Spreadshirt store has been revamped. We're also working on the whole website. Corey has redone the entire website.
Yeah.
So if you're thinking like, oh, well, the store, that who cares about that? No. Everything is available all in one place.
Yeah.
Episode, let's see, first one, 200?
100?
Is it 100?
Or 1?
Does it go all the way back to 1?
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Okay,
on the archives?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. All the way back to 1.
While other podcasts make you purchase their back catalog, ours is available from 1 to 300. Well, when you're listening to this, 1 to 300 will be available all on the website. Episodes 1 through 200, you negotiate that at your own.
Well,
leisure.
it's funny. I was listening to Brad Pitt and Leo DiCaprio on the WTF podcast earlier today. Another fine podcast you should check out. I don't know if you've heard of it. Little struggling artist. They were talking, and it's just so fun to listen to people who are like made in their careers. Like, Leo and Brad can just sort of shoot the shit and have fun. They don't have to worry about like the over politicization of like everything they say.
Somebody's
in the same
putting them in
way.
something.
Yeah, I mean, like, if you're young and up and coming, you sort of have to worry about, like, what box you're going to end up in.
Yeah.
At this point, people know who Leo and Brad Pitt are, and, like, they've already decided whether or not they're, like, on him or not. So, like, but it's just sort of interesting to hear people talk. And I think that, if anything, the 300 episodes that we've released is, like, an interesting idea into that sort of spectrum.
Yeah.
So, like, go from the beginning and see how much things have improved and how things have been different. And, like, even, I was watching in the intro when we were showing like the old episodes where we had the video up top and the sidebar on the side and everything like that. I thought that was a really cool design for when we had the availability of skipping ahead on YouTube videos, the annotations and stuff like that. I thought that was really cool, and we would still probably have something like that if it wasn't for them getting rid of
I was
it.
gonna say the things that we've actually survived on YouTube, where it's like, oh yeah, we used to do this whole thing. Nope, now they're not going to do that anymore. So, but all of that,
and just in the last like year of the live streaming, and in the last couple of weeks of having it up on multiple platforms at the same time, like all this is. I'm excited to see where we are 300 episodes from now. Because I imagine we're going to say like, oh, God, those guys.
But I will say that both the quality and the opinions have changed greatly in 300 episodes. So if you go digging around early on, I don't know what you're going to find exactly.
We're not going to make any promises.
Quality as the video has definitely improved. I mean, and it's so weird.
I still wait for the day where I'm famous and like I'm on the Mark Barron podcast. And he's like, I'd like to talk to you about something you said in episode 188 of your podcast. I'm just like, oh God, what could this possibly be?
That's not going to be good. No matter what it is, it's not going to be good. All right, Mark, let's get real. All right. I know you're holding.
Hit me with it. Go ahead.
Let's go.
You gonna bury me? Bury me.
But it's the other thing I think. So last year sometime.
Wouldn't it be funny if I just made somebody's life easier and 188 was the episode where I just said something really?
They're just like, what do you think?
I'm just saying,
188 is.
Click, 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 click. It's like this Trump guy's got some pretty good ideas.
P.S. I went through all of 2016 saying like, nah, forget it. Let's just vote for Trump. Let's just shake it up a little bit. That was a bad call. I hope nobody listened to me. And listen, if you're coming here for your voting advice, you're one of those people that I talked about in like episode 9 when I said some people shouldn't vote. My vote should count for 30 and you should get none. That's how that works. But
that being said, we love our audience and please don't go anywhere.
We're not sponsored yet. Is there? You think there's a reason no sponsors want to jump on board? Fuck. Anyway.
Hey, idiots, buy this.
All right, if you're the real dumb listener, boy, do we have a deal for you.
23andMe is got an exciting...
Oh, that's the other problem, too. It's like, what are we going to get? Like, Stamps.com, I mean, I guess I can use that. I can use that. 23andMe, no. I'm going to wrap up your ad by me saying, like, don't do it! Because the one company just sold their entire data catalog to a crime scene investigation company.
Well, I had that thing with Pod Save America where I was like, they were advertising 23andMe or something like that. And it's just like, you guys are spending all show going like, all these horrible social issues that we need to solve. And you're not like completely ignoring the one that's giving you money. Like,
yeah.
Just like if you took a break where you're just like, we're going to talk more to the Department of Justice lawyer in charge of nicotine related trials in just a second, but first, Marlboro. Ooh, that smooth taste.
Now all that being said, I can be purchased. I can absolutely be bought. I will shelve any product that anybody has. Just let me know.
Rat poison, not just for rats anymore. Just you smiling next to.
Or just at that moment, you take a drink, and I'm just like, rat poison. Yeah.
Do you have a problem, child? Rat poison.
But no, the other thing I was going to say is that I think it's interesting. Again, 300 consecutive weeks of new content. It is a new episode every single week. And maybe only on 4 or 5 occasions did we record ahead, even 1 week.
Yeah, I mean, usually it was like Christmas was coming up, or there was going to be some sort of vacation. Never really was it. I think once we did it, we did 2 in a week because like Jim was available and we were going to do one of the podcasts with him, and we said like, oh, let's just double batch it tonight, and then we don't even need to worry about showing up next week.
Speaking of which, Oscars are coming up. We should see if Jim would be available when it come on.
Yeah,
I don't know. Come do a show.
Yeah, let's
also,
talk about it.
Forget about the Oscars. I think one of our most beloved episodes was the us doing commentary over a movie.
Yeah, we need to do another movie commentary episode. That needs to happen. I've been watching or listening to the rewatchables. This podcast has now just become me talking about other podcasts that I listen to.
I was going to say, this is the third one that you've mentioned thus far.
But
things you should be listening to on your podcaster of choice.
I was just like, I was listening to it, and I'm just like, yeah, we kind of had this idea with the watching the episodes, but it's still different and new, and I feel like there's more avenues for this. I think it would be fun. The problem is getting rights. It's always the problem with these sort of things.
And I still
And like I don't like
maintain-
the idea of like telling people like, you know, it's like the Wizard of Oz and Dark Side of the Moon. You got to start at this exact moment we do. You know, like
I think that's fine though. It's just like
it works.
Get ready and press play.
It's the best
now.
version of that solution. I
Yes.
think the way I would like to in the future is just you're watching fucking Major League and you could just change the commentary track to us. You know? That's gonna fucking happen.
No, I think it's actually possible.
Like, cause you can download on digital ones, you can download new like
New tracks. Yeah, and it would just how do we
And I
make
mean,
it
like a lot of people
available?
do it for subtitles. So, like Roberto, if he's watching some movie and he wants to watch it in Spanish, he puts the Spanish subtitles on a movie that doesn't necessarily have them.
Oh, I think we should look into that. I think that there is an entire
Because I really
market for that.
the other thing I think is the next big thing is being able to pick your sports announcers.
Oh yeah,
Because
yeah.
like I've talked about this for a while. Because like I think that there's just going to be interesting combinations of people who you listen to on like a podcast and you like their opinions on sports, and then you're going to be able to live stream and watch an episode with them, and they'll do commentary sort of like in the vein of whoever is doing the game.
Well,
But-
like they're basically that's what listening to Orioles baseball on anything except for the official stations is, where like they're having their show and then it'll just be like, yeah, update bottom of the third, 2 strikes, 2 men on.
Well, yeah, I mean,
here
like,
we go. Oh, that
I
was a
re-
strikeout.
Yeah, I
End of the
remember.
inning.
I remember on the Fan during Ravens games, they would have like a live because they didn't have the rights to the Ravens
Right.
game, and they can't do direct play-by-play. But what you would get is sort of just like, so do you think Joe Flacco is done with this team? We should move on to Lamar Jackson. That's a 3rd and 17 completion by Joe Flacco.
Right, yeah. And honestly, sometimes better
Rather
than
than doing the like Joe Flacco lines up behind center, and the pass is caught by Willie Snead, 3rd and 17 or 18-yard reception on 3rd and 17.
It's honestly sometimes better because then you're like not caught up in all the details. You
Yeah.
get like the color, but it's real color. It's not just filler in between plays.
Yeah.
It's like we're having a conversation. Stop.
And it's
and
always
just tell you what
funny when
happened.
something really amazing happens and you just hear some guy go like, "Whoa!" So there was just an incredible catch you missed.
Yeah. But so my original point, which is 300 episodes, is over 5 years of content coming up on 6. Good God, coming up on 6 years. And the important thing is, it's also a chronology of the last 6 years of life.
Yeah.
And I'm not one to talk about my personal life so much on the podcast, but I think that at least what we have done and the things we're working on, when I listened through to get sound bites, because I was going to build a soundboard of some of Corey's more, inappropriate things, so I could just make drops whenever I wanted to. So many moments of hashtag socially acceptable racism. Me just being like racist. But no, it's so weird because like just those 2 things right there. As soon as I went to think of something, I flash back. That racist was at least 2 years ago, like a year and a half, 2 years ago. And socially acceptable racism was Parkville.
Yeah.
So that's at least in the 4th year of 4 years ago. So we got like our entire lives are been put down on tape.
Well, not the entire thing. There was some time where we weren't live streaming everything we were doing.
Wait,
The olden days.
I was gonna say, do you remember when you
Back
used to
before
say
broadband internet existed.
we used to say I'm gonna go log on to Facebook? Now we don't log on. We're always here. We live here now. But no, I think it's good that we have that kind of chronology. Could come up to
You
bite
just
us in the
walk
ass,
up in
but-
your living room and go, "Call Wob."
And the moment he figures out that there's a mute button on there and mom has muted that thing because it's just always listening, then he'll be fine. But instead, you just go and look directly at the portal and scream, "Call Wob!" All right, we feel like we should call you because he was just screaming at the portal. And then literally all he says is like, "Hi," and he goes off and plays. By the way, first day of school today.
I know. Look at him.
Man.
Look at that little man.
2 years old, folks. 2 years old. And it's not school.
It's advanced crayons and
He, like me, basically placed into a program that is much like school. It's not daycare. It's not go sit and then watch TV and stuff. It's like structured program for
is he being
daycare.
watched by Professor Xavier or something like that, or
Well, listen, I don't want to say that his intelligence isn't of the mutant variety. We do share genes after all. But no, I don't think it's but it is like they have a dedicated childcare provider, but they also have teachers, and they have like the nurse on staff and like the whole 9 yards. So
Yeah.
Maxon, when you listen to this years from now, because God knows I'm not going to let you listen to any episodes of the podcast until you're like 13.
until I'm dead.
Probably so. But yeah, so this was your first day of school, and I wish I could have been there. I'm super proud of you. And I am looking forward to all of those educational advances. And it's like, it's weird because like I saw everybody's very supportive online, but I can see that like people aren't chiming in who sometimes comment on our pictures. And I'm like, if it was like his first football practice, I know people would be like, hey, yeah, great. But school's important.
Yeah.
Always remember that. School's important. But speaking of his first football practice, I feel like it's time to take a little trip down.
Where you get the straight storps.
I found it and then hit it before I was ready to do my
Oh,
proper
that's the
setup.
one.
That's the one. Oh, shit. Sports. Anyway, luckily not a lot this week in particular.
Well, we had the week off, so we were able to enjoy ourselves.
The last time that happened was never. Either we're done.
I've never had an enjoyable wild card weekend up until this one.
Is there? No, because in 2000 they went in. They didn't have wild card weekend. It was just. Did they?
Yeah.
But we
Yeah.
played. We played
Yeah.
whatever it was.
We always played.
always played.
We always played.
So it's either we're out or we're playing.
Because
So.
part of the thing is that for most of the years that we've been watching football, the New England Patriots have been a dynasty at the same exact time. So,
Oh, yeah.
Well,
They're on their way to a dynasty again. I mean, they made the playoffs this year.
no, unfortunately, they left early. Something they. By the way, you know what? The last time they had a loss in the wild card round of the playoffs.
98.
No, it was Ray Rice when they did the hey diddle diddle play of the middle.
Yes.
Yeah.
Who
Or no,
was-
the 80-yard run, like second play of the game or something like that. Ray Rice broke it out for like 80 yards, and that was it. It was over after that point.
Ravens Patriots on wild card weekend?
Yeah,
Who was the 1 and 2 that year?
I don't remember, but
That would
God,
have been the Steelers, probably.
probably like the Steelers and maybe the Colts or something like that.
Man, what? That is my mind blown.
Yeah.
That, like, wait, they played wild card weekend?
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Well, that was I think the last time they played in wild card weekend too.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Not good at the wild card.
yeah. But the Patriots have been eliminated.
Yes.
Uh,
By the way, go find the video of that last pass in the fourth quarter set to Celine Dion's "My Heart Will Go On" from Titanic.
yeah.
It's magic. Just magic.
That song makes me cry so often. They put it to everything, and I just start like tearing up like a little baby.
And apparently, it makes Tom Brady tear up too. That's what we're looking at the video.
So the Patriots dynasty may be over.
Yeah.
This might be the end of it. Tom Brady is a free agent. There's some talk that he is interested in seeing if he can do it without Belichick and maybe add to his legacy by doing it like on his own.
Belichick
probably doing the same thing.
Yep.
There's some conversation that he might be back to, like this isn't over, but it's kind of interesting where this might go because for the first time, Tom Brady might actually test the market.
You got. I have like a feeling that something in Bill Belichick says I can grab Nick Foles off the market. I can grab Fitzgerald, the journeyman quarterback,
Right.
I can build a Super Bowl team or a playoff team at least around him and show once and for all Tom Brady was a gear in the machine that I built.
Right.
Not.
And I'm sure Tom Brady has a bit of him where he's just like, I go to a team that's close and I take them to the Super Bowl, and people are like, Tom Brady did this. You
Well,
know?
I was going to
Like,
say one thing you mentioned in the pre-show meeting. He comes to L.A. and goes to the Chargers and makes them competitive from where they were this year. And it's like, oh, wow, so Tom Brady really is super talented.
Well, and I mean, like specifically for a team like the Chargers, they need to sell tickets like immediately,
that's
like yesterday.
Got to
So
fill StubHub Center, man. Or no,
next year, at the SoFi Stadium. So gonna have to find 65,000 rabid Charger fans to fill your seats.
No. Because we know 45,000 of those are going to be purchased by whatever Northeastern team has fans that wants to get out of the weather. So really, you only need 25,000 people from
Still, that's about 24,500 more than they currently have planning to show up on any given weekend. So
it's gonna be super funny when the Oakland
it might do the Raider or might do the Chargers well to bring in somebody who might sell some seats.
When
you get this Tom Brady Antonio Brown thing going for once.
Yeah, man. I mean,
it's not out of the realm of possibility.
I think it's gonna be super funny that the Oakland Oakland now Las Vegas Raiders are gonna be like selling out game after game after game after game, and the Los Angeles Chargers playing in a I mean, I guess because
there are more season ticket I'm gonna blow your mind here with this one.
Yeah,
there are more season ticket holders from Southern California who have Raiders season tickets in Las Vegas than there are people who have Chargers season tickets in Los Angeles.
Believe it 100%. Believe it 100%. I think there are more season ticket holders for the Ravens in Southern California than there are Chargers season ticket holders at this point.
That one seems like a bit of a stretch,
Well,
but the math adds up.
You have season tickets.
Not anymore.
I mean, so your family has season tickets.
Well, I mean, if at any point you were allowed to have season tickets, you count for this list, or
well, no, I mean, you have access to season tickets.
Not anymore.
Your dad doesn't have season tickets. Oh, I didn't realize.
No.
Oh, wow, the dynasty is ending for so many families. Okay, well, no, I was just gonna say that makes.
Well, you know, Kaepernick took a knee, and then everyone had to sell their tickets, and now.
Is that what happened?
No, I'm just kidding. I wanted to see if I could get your like steam to come out of your ears and like
would not put it past your dad to be like, I'm done with the NFL. Nope, giving him my tickets. Nope.
I was telling Rachel it would have been a great investment strategy to take everyone's tickets when they sold.
Yeah.
Because now Lamar Jackson and everyone wants to get back in the stadium. Look who comes crawling back for their tickets.
And we do the it's not what is it called? Because you don't just buy the ticket, you have to buy the right.
Yeah,
to
the
buy
PSL.
Yeah, you have to buy the PSL and then buy the tickets on top. By the way, Chargers fans, that is how you show you're a rabid fan base when you can't even provide enough rights to buy tickets to everyone who wants them. There's a list for PSLs. And then there's also a list for people who have PSLs and can't get tickets.
Yeah. It used to be that the Redskins had like a 20-year wait on season tickets.
Yeah, they're the only team. So
yeah, at one point.
Yep.
So
not anymore.
Anyway. Anywho, yes. The Titans beat the Patriots. The Patriots are done, maybe forever. There was much rejoicing.
Yes.
But now the Titans come to the bank and take on the Ravens on Saturday night.
And they're going to find Lamar is no Tom Brady.
Well, I like the attitude of this team where it's whoever we face is the most important person on our schedule, and I think that the Ravens are excited to face a team like the Titans because while they're not as wily as the Patriots can be, I feel like it's a team that the Ravens should be able to handle all right, and I think that if we play our game the way that we want to, then it should work out. But I'm not taking anything for granted. I'm not.
Also, I've seen no evidence that this is true, but I'm going to put this to you. If this was a Flacco team, Flacco would go into maybe Monday, probably Tuesday, and start watching game footage of the Titans. I have a feeling that Lamar was standing outside the video room watching on his phone, and he's like, all right, okay, pull up the Titan stuff, and he's like in the room on Sunday or Saturday. Like, I'm getting prepped now. Show me who I'm going to play. All right, good. Pull up the Titans video. Let's go. And not that it's more professional or less. It's a guy who I think has not a chip on his shoulder, but he wants to prove that he is the guy.
Yeah.
Versus Joe, who kind of came in and was just always just like, I'm the guy. I sell you bank information.
Yeah, I mean, like
First Mariner Bank, the greatest bank in Baltimore.
First Mariner Bank. The
worst commercials ever.
I don't think that's entirely fair. I think that Joe, when he was at the point in his career that Lamar is now, was very hungry and very, wanted to prove himself all the time.
Of course he was hungry.
I just feel like
white guy from Delaware.
I just feel like Lamar's got a great mindset for being a quarterback in the NFL at this exact moment that he is. Like, I can't tell you what Lamar is going to be like in 10 years if he continues to have success like this. Like maybe it'll go to his head over time. I find it hard to believe that it wouldn't at some point.
Yeah.
But right now he still seems very like guarded and very like humble, and I like that about him. I feel like it brings up the spirits of everyone around him, and why he's such an important leader to his team.
And much like the dynasty of the Patriots is likely done, another playoff game you're going to be able to see this weekend: Chiefs versus Texans. And I say that to say these are two teams you're likely to see in the playoffs regularly for the next 10 years. Chiefs, Ravens. And I couldn't figure out something older than this, so I'll concede and say Manning Brady is what we're looking at now, where it's like
I would hope. I mean, I think Mahomes and Lamar would be worth the price of admission every time.
Yeah.
Like I can't see a version of the game being like, oh, this is a real ugly match. Like,
and much like that rivalry, it's almost frustrating that they can't meet in the Super Bowl. They're meeting at best in the AFC Championship game. Even though apparently the Patriots met the Ravens in the wild card round, which makes no sense to me. But I just feel like it's going to be a lot of 1-2 from here on out, where we'll get the buys, and then eventually it'll be the AFC Championship game. So,
well, I mean, like right now, do you have a favorite in Chiefs Texans?
Well, so here's the problem.
I mean, like I just don't trust Bill O'Brien at all.
I think the Chiefs,
I don't trust Andy Reid in the playoffs, but like I really don't trust Bill O'Brien.
I think the Chiefs are the better team. But Andy Reid finds a way to ruxin himself no matter how he gets to the playoffs. And he's like, you know what? We never put Mahomes out on the wing and let one of those guys throw the ball.
Like I was watching the Bills game, and I'm just like, did you see the like fake or the lateral that?
Yeah. No,
Josh Allen tried to do at one point.
We were at Chili's or Applebee's or something like that in the suburbs, and I'm like watching the game kind of out of the corner of my eye, and I'm like, what is going on in this game?
He's like trying to save Bill O'Brien. He's just like, I heard your job's on the line.
I don't understand the coaches who like, because Andy Reid's a great coach. History has shown he's a great coach.
Yeah.
But then even 20 years, 30 years in now, he gets in the playoffs and you see him just like over on the sideline, like, all right, they're never going to see this coming. It's like, you have Patrick Mahomes. Stop calling plays. Let him go out there and call the plays. Don't let him do the
double reverse, quarterback sneak.
We don't need to Statue of Liberty play with a reverse. Like, we don't need any of that. Just go. Let him go run the team out there. If I see him press his hands
Andy
to
Reid
his
with a
thumb,
piece of paper and pencil, he's like, all right, we've never done this before, but let's give it a whirl.
So wait, you want me to throw it to the other team's defensive back?
Throw it at his knees, it'll bounce up and into the arms of Priest Holmes. Priest Holmes doesn't play on the team anymore. Just joy.
He's in the stands, all right? I got a plan here. Here we go. Yeah, so
he's just going to come and wear Damian Williams' jersey. It'll be fine. Nobody will know anything.
Okay. I think the problem, though, is that both of those are good teams.
Isn't Priest Holmes 50 years old? Shut up.
Both of those teams are good. I think one of the coaches is going to make a bigger mistake than the other coach, and that's going to be what the game is about.
The whole Bills-Texans game was just like coaches making awful decisions, like one after the other, and I just couldn't even. So at one point, the Texans were up by 3, and they had it on like their 20, the Bills 20-yard line, and it was 4th and 1. And I was like, okay, so they'll kick it, and this will be over. Because they'd have to score a touchdown to be able to like get over top of it.
Yeah.
But they're just like, no, we're just going to try and put him out right now and do a quarterback sneak for the 1 yard. But then like people forget, like they march down the field for the field goal and they get the game tying field goal. It's just like, well, they would have kicked the field goal before. This wouldn't be this wouldn't be an option.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I don't understand why you want to take the points and like just all kinds of dumb, like stupid mistakes and like, you know, like taking Sean Payton with the timeout left with like 2:40 to go and letting the clock run out to the 2-minute warning and then never using the timeout. Like all of it doesn't make sense to me.
My advice to coaches this week is take the points and don't show up for the game. That's really my, because I don't feel like there's a lot of coaches making good decisions. But I mean, not to stick to the AFC, Seahawks, Packers in the NFC, 49ers, Vikings. 49ers Vikings is the interesting one because I am just interested to see how Jimmy G does leading a team into the playoffs and then getting to the playoffs.
Yeah.
And it's going to decide whether or not that is going to be
I think they're a really good team, but there's something about the pressure cooker that is the playoffs that just like shows you different angles of people that you didn't know were there before.
And 49ers had the bye, right? They were the number 1 seed going in. And I feel like that is almost a disadvantage for Jimmy G. It would have been better to not have to sit and watch football for a week. It almost would have been better to be like, nope, just another week 18. Let's go in. We're going to go play. Week 19, let's go. We're going to go play. That bye kind of lets you sit and think.
Yeah, but I mean, like also the number of teams that make it to the Super Bowl who are one of the top 2 seeds. I mean, like obviously they're the best teams, so they're more likely to make the Super Bowl all the time. But like those buys do seem to help. So
yeah, you get the guy who's just 17 weeks in of injury and just like give him a week. 2 weeks really to recover. Before the next game. I mean, it's an advantage. I don't know. I think that's a more interesting game. What is it? The Seahawks Packers. I don't know. I don't know who to even cheer for in that game. So
I mean, I guess I would root for the Packers, but I mean, like I think the Packers will win. But I just Russell Wilson is the type of guy I'd never want to bet against.
Yeah.
Like I don't ever want to like have money riding on a game, and then I'm looking at it, I'm just like, oh fucking, it's 3 minutes left, and Russell's got the ball.
Yeah. He's the anti-Jameis, where it's just like he makes the game exciting, but almost always for a good reason. And you're just like, oh, okay, well.
How'd he do that?
But it's like then sometimes he blows games. When he does it, he blows it in like the first quarter, and it's just not going to be a good game after that.
Throws 3 interceptions in his first 3 passes, and then we move on with the rest of the exciting Seahawks game.
Jameis is the guy who throws 2 interceptions in a row and then comes back and throws a 70-yard in the air bomb downfield, which somehow evades two defenders and just drops into the basket. And you're like, you threw it into the chest of a defender on the last one. What are you doing?
There was nobody else there.
He just threw it to the defender. Like, oh, I forgot.
Hey, it's my buddy C.J. Mosley. Fuck.
We're wearing white today. We're wearing white. Somebody should have told me. Damn. Okay. All right. Well, but it's I don't know. I agree with you though that Russell Wilson is dynamic and he could make a difference in a game. But Willie, I don't know. Well, I guess we'll have to see.
Moving on.
Yeah. Wait. Let me play that the big drop that we have for the segment.
I'm sorry.
So. Wait. I don't seem to have a.
Well, you know, half of our production team absconded to Mexico, so.
Oh, true. With some of our equipment, and by our I mean his equipment.
What's yours is ours, and ours is not yours.
Yes. Come back soon, Roberto.
Quick Golden Globes recap. Because Rob didn't bother to watch.
We should have opened with this because then it wouldn't matter that I wasn't on the screen. Anyway, there you go.
Should have skipped ahead. That's not going to lose you though, right?
No, because I put the background.
Oh, that's right. Sneaky.
Yeah.
For those who didn't watch the Golden Globes, you didn't miss much. Most of the people you imagined would win did win. Here are some surprises. 1917 won Best Picture for drama and director as well for Sam Mendes. And Bong Joon-ho's Parasite won Best Foreign Language, which is helpful for it in the Oscar race. Like it further cements it as like the runaway winner, if you will. And a very good field of foreign language films, I'll say. Like Parasite has gotten the most acclaim, but I think that it's a really good year for foreign films just in general. I will say that Ricky Gervais, who hosted for his last time, no, I'm saying he kept talking about how it was his last time hosting.
Yeah, well, that's
and
because
they were gonna let him do it anymore.
Everything he said before the show and then during.
Yeah, I mean he definitely riled some people up. Here's the thing that I don't understand about where he was coming from with his act, and it's not that any of it wasn't funny or anything. It's fine. All of it is playing to a certain audience, which shared it like crazy on Facebook today.
Yeah.
So that part worked. But I would say that
hi, Rachel's mom.
part of the reason why it doesn't work in a grand scheme type of thing is that what makes these awards valuable is the idea that it's important to win it. And if you don't, like, part of the reason why even when the Orioles are terrible, they have people who are saying only great things about them, like Jim Hunter. The reason why Jim Hunter survives every single Orioles season is because they know they can put him in front of a microphone when it's time for the season to start again, and he could just be like, I think this Alberto guy might have a real future in this league. And you're just like,
and sorry to jump in here, but that is the reason why you actually it was pre-podcast, by the way. We went into some years being like, you know what, we could still do well this year because we got sold a bill of goods by the announcers. Who were just
the only people we were listening to was Jim Hunter, and he's just like, you know what, if things go right for this Jeff Fiorentino guy, I could see him winning an MVP. And I'd just be like, well, I guess he's good.
We have an MVP candidate on it? Maybe we'll do better than we think. Nope. 60 wins. That's how it works.
Screech, you deceived me. No, it's fine. You can make fun of Hollywood, and you can make fun of like the liberal assumptions of the people in Hollywood. I don't know if the day that most of the said liberals were going to be talking about the fire in Australia is like the best day to like have in your opening, like don't listen to any of the political things that they're saying. Like it's all bullshit. Like I don't know. Like to me, I feel like the best hosts of these awards are the ones who make it feel like you're at some amazing event that is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And
where everyone's not half in the bag.
Right, exactly. Even though everyone is, because it's the Golden Globes and you can drink.
I do want to say one thing, though, also about 1917. Friend of the show, Roberto, who, of course, we missed and come back soon. And basically, like, I don't know, a third of my office who knows nothing about movies and should really watch my reviews more. To say things like, I can't believe 1917 beat Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yeah.
You haven't seen 1917. Like, how can you even hold that position? Like, again, when I saw that they won, I was like, oh, I'm excited for 1917.
Yeah, I've been meaning to see this. I'm glad that it's good.
And it's like, oh, I hear Roger Deakins. I'm already digging that. I'm liking Sam Mendes. Oh, I'm down for that. Okay. But I did see Tarantino's like Swan Song earlier this year. So bar's pretty high. Boom. Beats that. And it doesn't really mean anything, I guess, but still. Like,
I mean, it's the Golden Globe, so it's one of those things. Like, it means everything and it means nothing at the same exact time. If you're Sam Mendes right now, your agent is walking up to you going like, "I'm feeling really good about the Oscars," and it could mean absolutely nothing to 1917's Oscars chance.
Also,
I think that it's benefit. It helps that it wins, but it doesn't mean anything.
If you're Sam Mendes' agent, you're also like, hey, let me talk to you about the 3-picture deal that this got us.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really matter. Like, that's the thing. It matters, but it doesn't matter. Even if you won the Oscar or not, now that it's going to be more in the talk. Now, by the way,
that just helps. Like,
if
you're just more in the conversation, that's really almost half the battle.
It's only in like 3 theaters nationwide. Or no, it's in 5 theaters nationwide, 3 of which are in the city of Los Angeles. So it's
to make sure that it qualifies for the Academy Awards. That's why.
And we could go see it, which, by the way, we could. But I think the only one even close to us is out on the west side. It's like deep in the valley on the west side in San Gabriel.
How do you do this to us?
I'm like, nothing really, like no ArcLight, but it's debuting in like 2 weeks. So either way, we'll be able to go. It'll probably also step up this weekend. I'm betting we'll be able to see it at ArcLight or at Alamo or something this weekend. But but I see that and I get super excited for it. I don't understand the people who get upset and are just like, no, it shouldn't have beaten. You haven't seen the movie yet. Like, don't prejudge that. Yeah. And maybe a detriment to 1917. I'm going into it now with real high expectations. Yeah, I already had pretty high expectations with just knowing who's in it and who did it. Now I'm like, oh wow, okay, so let's see something. Let's see something.
That can go one of two ways. Either you see it and you're not as impressed, and you're just like, or it's like a perfectly fine movie, but it's not like, like I felt a lot when Rami Malek won for Bohemian Rhapsody. Yeah. Like a lot of people said to me like, "Oh, I didn't see it. Is it a good movie?" I'm just like, I mean, it's a perfectly fine movie. Yep. It's not amazing. It's not like
historically accurate.
It's not AFI top 100 of all time or anything like that. But it's a fine movie, and Rami Malek's really good in it.
And you get to sing Queen songs.
Yeah,
almost all the way through it. Just like singing in your seat. Not with Corey because really gets
upset I will beat you
if you talk.
But beat you with a hose.
But I mean, if you go see it without Corey, you can enjoy the music if nothing else. And he did a great performance. But that was kind of a stacked
I mean, it was nominated for Best Picture.
Yeah.
It wasn't going to win, but like it was like one of those like it's in the running, so it's in the conversation. It was a good enough movie to be nominated, so I guess there's that at the very least.
And good for Rami Malek for getting out there and going to parties, because I will not do that. Part of my deal is going to be like, listen, we get nominated, I'm not doing shit for
I
you
kept
this
telling
movie.
the fun award season game that I was playing last night with Rachel was this guy won because he was campaigning real hard for it. Taron Egerton.
Yes.
With Rocket Man. He's been literally fucking anywhere in Los Angeles where a person might possibly not know about Rocket Man. There's Taron Egerton ready to pop out and be like, "You want to meet Elton John?" And
He's like hanging out at Erewhon in Santa Monica, just like in costume,
literally everywhere, just like. Go see Rocket Man. Go see Rocket Man. And it's worked out because he won a Golden Globe for his performance.
I won't do that.
Does an Oscar follow because he's been playing the game? We'll find out. But
And another thing people don't realize is like Golden Globes is the Hollywood Foreign Press Association, and the Oscars is the Academy of Motion Pictures,
Arts and Sciences.
Which are two very different groups. And Sam Mendes is likely to win something from the Directors Guild strongly. He is a director's director.
There's a it's sort of funny. Like I remember somebody made a comparison of like the Academy of Motion Pictures is like everyone who's ever been on SNL.
Yeah.
Is like a member of that group. And the Hollywood Foreign Press Association is just that one sketch, Sprockets. It's like, okay, that's sort of how it works. But yeah,
that's why it may not mean anything, because also a lot of those guys may have said like, oh, well, this Tarantino thing is derivative, or maybe they didn't enjoy it as much.
Yeah.
But they get, by the way, Hollywood Foreign Press Association, and it's a movie about World War I in the trenches of Europe. Not that that means anything, but maybe it did mean something. Who knows? You know, who's to say? So anyway, so don't worry about. By the way, I forgot the Golden Globes were on, and then I got a tweet, and I was like, "Oh, Golden Globes," and I checked the tweet, and I saw it was like a little like a recap of the opening for Gervais, and I was like, "Nope." I got some You to watch. I'm gonna keep watching You. I'm almost done. Highly recommend.
I say let's skip the Hogan stuff until I have a chance to read on it a bit. And let's just work our way through the news here in a quick and orderly manner.
So, I mean, our first point really, not a lot of news out on it, just more like, hey, it happened today. Harvey Weinstein charged with two cases in California, multiple counts on 2 cases.
Oh, was it multiple counts on 2 cases?
Yeah, I do believe it was 2 victims, and then it was the same counts. Like,
okay.
It was like rape and then sexual assault and different stages of that for 2 victims. Might be incorrect. Again, it was hard to find the story after it appeared, which makes me think that maybe the LA Times had an error in their story and pulled the story. And then I had the day from hell. So it was hard to follow up on that. But the important thing is Harvey Weinstein charged in LA, which is somewhat meaningless because he is most certainly going to face charges in New York. The process of that is about to work its way out. But we were discussing why people may not understand that in the pre-show meeting. And basically what it comes down to is, I'll put it in Corey terms. When you got somebody who needs to get got, you got to do what you do to get them got. And this is LA's way of saying, all right, listen, even if he's found innocent or not guilty in New York, we are immediately going to arrest him and bring him here and make him face charges here. So in a way, it's like
two women, 4 counts, rape and sexual battery in each.
Look at that. Look at steel trap up here. That's right, Max. And just remember, there was
this is where you got it from.
This is where you got it from, these jeans. But you know, it's so it's news, but it's not really news because it's like, oh, this is happening. But in the end, if he's found guilty in New York, the likelihood he ever comes to trial in LA, probably 0.
Yeah.
It's more of the guarantee of like, if New York doesn't do the right thing, we'll bring him out here and we know what to do with him.
Well, also there's like a feeling of, you know, and it sounds weird when you're talking about it with like Weinstein because like they seem to have reserved it for the people who truly deserve it the most. But there has been more and more in recent years of piling indictments in different states to try and really get somebody. And it's going to be funny when it's not somebody like Harvey Weinstein.
I mean, I would argue too,
gets
though,
traveled all across the country to.
it seems like it's more recent only because we are entering the phase of like, oh yeah, these powerful people just kind of travel from state to state and do whatever they want wherever.
Yeah,
they are.
and I mean, like, also there's a degree of like, you know, even in the 80s, like you couldn't really keep tabs on people as well as you can nowadays. So if there was some sort of talk about, you know, a indictment in New York, it wouldn't necessarily make its way to California right away.
Yeah, I mean, it's
the same
so
way.
It's so weird because my dad was born in 1937, and when he was 17, a B-24 bomber landed, an emergency landing at the airfield in a small town in Missouri where he was from, and like the entire county came out and just stared at it like, how can something that big actually fly? And that's that. He didn't have indoor plumbing in his home growing up. And now he is looking at like, oh, yeah, no. So I just turn on my TV and Al Jazeera is broadcasting live from Baghdad.
Yeah. I get video call Rob right now.
Okay, so and he also loves his Portal because he's like, I don't have to worry. He carries a flip phone. It's a very dumb phone. And he's like, he always feels like he's missing out because he sees that Sarah and I will video chat. And it's super easy. Hit the unmute button, the only button on top, and just say call Rob, and it calls me, and we do a little video call. So it's great. But can you imagine, like, being born in a world where flight was a mystery, and then your grandson will speak to a magic box, which then calls your son 3,000 miles away, and they look at each other and chat as if they're in the same room. Like, it amazes me to think about the things he has, like, been through. As but that's not as important as I want to skip down to the next thing, not the very next thing, but the thing after that.
Yeah,
because I love that Corey and I send tweets to each other during the week where it's just like, hey, we should talk about this, and we try to whittle it down from roughly 400 every week down to a few topics. But
sometimes we get really impassioned about something that's definitely not going to make it on the show. And we're just like, did you hear about what's happening with peanuts in Peru? And it's just like, nobody cares. It's just like, yeah, but I want to argue about it for a while.
However, when you caption something, the Hornberger method of blank, I'm in, and I don't know even what it is. I don't even have to read the story I'm in. But can you just take a moment for those who may not have watched 30 Rock to explain what the Hornberger method is before we jump into this?
So Pete Hornberger was a producer on TGS, which was the fictional show that 30 Rock was based off of. It's like a fake SNL type show.
The girly show.
The girly show. But then it became TGS with Tracy Jordan. Because the girls didn't matter, and it was all about Tracy. And somewhere season 3, 4, something like that, they're going to introduce a new cast member onto the show. And there's a lot of debate of like, who can they get who won't anger Tracy and won't anger Jenna, and that everyone's going to come in with their different ideas. But Pete has a system where he starts off with somebody who's okay, but definitely not good enough. And then you put the person you really want to get the job in the middle, because then you see like the progression from one to the other. And then you put the worst choice at the end so that you go, oh, it got better at the second one and it got worse, and now I'm going to pick the second person. And that's how you guarantee that Hornberger was going to get the cast member that he wanted. And then all of a sudden, everyone started introducing new people into the auditions. Yeah. And there's like 150 people, and like Hornberger's going like, there's no way to account for this in the method.
So basically he was just, as long as I can control this, I can force you to choose the right option. Yeah. The problem is
it's the same logic that you use with like if you were asking your parents to like if you wanted to like go to New York for the weekend, they'd say no. And so it's like, all right, so I have 3 options available to me. Either 1, I do drugs in the den all weekend, 2, I go to New York, or 3, I go to Paris. And they're just like, wow, I don't want you to do drugs, and Paris is way too far, so I guess you're going to New York. Be like, all right, bye.
All right, yeah.
I guess I'll have to.
And the Hornberger method worked because both Tracy and Jenna, character Tracy, not actual Tracy, character Tracy and Jenna were dumb. They're really dumb. And they could be fooled by that. So it is not a in order to try to keep some semblance of sanity in the White House, that the generals and the staff generally have taken to the Hornberger method when it comes to presenting things to the president.
So there was a story that came out recently where I can't remember who said it, but like basically Trump will not read anything. Like anything longer than a page is just absolutely not getting read.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't catch him like right away, he'll just put it down and never pick it up again.
Which is the codes to our nuclear weapons.
Which is great when he's getting briefings on important international events.
Yeah.
But they a separate story from the Washington Post, I believe
New
it
York
was.
Times.
New York Times.
Yeah.
About how the generals basically came to him with the news of the option of assassinating the number 2 in Iran, basically the Mike Pence of Iran, and they had basically thrown it in as like the worst option that he wouldn't pick in the Hornberger method.
Using Corey's previous example, it's the do drugs in a den all weekend one, where you're just like, well, there's no way they're gonna let me do that. But
they might say yes to Paris, but Paris is too far. That doesn't make sense. So
yeah.
It's like the drugs in the den, though, is definitely the assassination of the number 2 in Iran.
Or so they thought.
Trump picked it. He thought it was a great idea. Let's just say that nobody thought about what was going to happen after they did it.
Yeah.
And that's a problem because Iran was developing nuclear weapons, and then they stopped, and then now they're going to start again.
Yep.
And they're already saying that there's going to be retribution. And
there was already attack in Kenya.
They also took on our electrical system or internet somewhere in the grid.
Yeah.
And I think the thing that bothers me the most is just that in previous years, whether or not I agreed or disagreed with the person in office, I would often come to the same general idea, which is I don't know what they're dealing with. I don't have all the information they do. They know way better. They have way more people around them that know what's going on. I have to trust their judgment. I don't think this war in Iraq is a great idea, but I have to trust George W. Bush because he's got the best information. And then you find out later that you've been hornswoggled.
Wait, because remember, Colin Powell also came out and
Yeah,
said, hey, and now you're like, whoa, validity. All right, I trust that guy. And he's saying that guy is right. So, okay.
Right. And you like it's this thing of trust where like you trust the person who's telling you something.
Yeah.
But when Trump says, "Hey, I decided to do this," I go like, "I don't trust you to actually make the right decision." And these types of I don't actually believe that you had the information that I don't have, kind of thing. You know, like
I'll put it this way: if Trump came out and said, "We're erecting a giant guillotine in front of Congress and we're going to start marching everyone out, including myself," I would say something like, "This doesn't sound like a good idea. I don't know why, but we shouldn't do this." Just because. Yeah. It reminds me, by the way, Trump, I don't know why I just thought of this. Trump reminds me in that way of another very funny black comedian, Martin Lawrence, from the 1996 movie Blue Streak, where he's playing a thief pretending to be a cop, and his boss, who I think is Joey Pants, but that would mean that Joey Pants was his cop boss both in that movie and also in Bad Boys.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, he says to him, "Do you ever just stop and hear yourself?" And he says, "Sometimes I don't know what I'm going to say until I'm finished saying it." And I feel like that's what Trump is sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, he's just like, they offer him the 3 things, and he just jumps out and says, well, let's bomb them. Yep. Okay, now moving on. Chicken nuggets for lunch, or what's the situation? And you're like, whoa. This is a very important decision. We really need to look at it. Yeah, no, number two.
Yeah, so here's the exact quote from the Times. I forgot that you posted it in here.
I did. I put it in the notes.
Officials presented the president with options. The Pentagon tacked on the choice of targeting Soleimani. I can't pronounce that name, so I'm sorry. Soleimani, mainly to make other options seem reasonable. They didn't think he would take it. When Mr. Trump chose the option, military officials flabbergasted were alarmed. So, yes.
Oh, I thought of another great example. Simpsons, when the Arnold Schwarzenegger of the Simpsons universe is president.
Yeah.
And they say, like, you have 5 options. And he's like,
number 3.
He's like, not that option. That's not available. Somebody should have done that. They're like, here are your 3 options, Mr. President.
You didn't choose me to read. You chose me to lead.
That is exactly what Trump is. Oh, my God. Simpsons predicted it yet again, that we'd have a president who they would just be like, number 2.
They just picked the wrong pseudo-Republican.
Well, actually, that guy can't be president, theoretically, because, I mean, Ted Cruz also couldn't be president for the same reason. Not important. But I just want to say to the generals.
I imagine one day if Arnold really pushed it, he would just like go to Iowa or something like that and just be like, "Come on, you know you want to do it."
But I feel like the
And
general.
just everyone would just be like, do it. It's fine, Arnie. You can be president.
The generals and staff should take the tact of the generals from that Simpson episode where like, here are 5 options. And he says, number 2. And you're like, okay, not number 2. Anything else? Any of these 4 that are left? And it's like, number 4. Nope, I'm sorry, not that one. Okay, any of these 3
They did that in The Simpsons, too. They
That's
did
what I'm
that
saying.
where they
Use
start
that as
pulling
the
the options
example.
until eventually there's one. And it's just like, oh, sounds like a great idea.
There you go. That's what we need to do with this guy. Or I think he's probably got goldfish memory and come back to him later after he's had a couple Diet Cokes and a cheeseburger and then say, here are 3 options. Because it also could have been that he was hangry. And he's like, no.
Just come back
bomb
later
him.
and just be like, just confirm we were bombing that hospital, right?
What? No. What? Who said that? Who said the hospital? Oh, by the way, funniest part of this whole story, not really funny.
Not haha funny.
No. World War III is perfectly possible. Iran is a close ally of Russia now. And this means that we are bombing not only, we're assassinating, because, by the way, a targeted killing of an official is an assassination.
Right.
We're doing so without congressional approval. But we're also bombing holy sites because we bomb things.
You know, again, it hurts me to break my natural trusting instincts of even if it doesn't sound like a good idea, a government official is giving me this information, so I feel like I have to go with it a little bit.
Yeah.
The idea of bombing holy sites to me was not great because that one hits you differently than if it, and let me put it into an American context here. If all of a sudden the Washington Monument was bombed, Mount Rushmore or something like that, like Mount Rushmore could get bombed, nobody could die, it could just crumble down, and people would be fucking pissed.
Yeah.
There would be people who've never been there, who don't know anything about it, who are going to be immediately wanting to string up whoever did it by their...
Better example. Cathedral at Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Because it's a religious site, but it's also just like an important Parisian thing. And to be frank, we don't have anything in America that the world cares about. But if it was bombed, Catholics are mad because you bombed this very old cathedral. But just generally speaking, everyone in the Western world is like, the fuck, man?
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? Now we went from the 100 million Iranians being mad at us to 2.1 billion Muslims being like, and I mean, Sunnis who hate Shia, don't hate them, but they have a lot of problems with Shia, Muslim, 2 different sects of Islam, are basically like, whoa, not cool. Yeah, we don't like you now too. It's just like, if you could make the wrong decision, if we could play a game called which is the option we shouldn't do, we could also call that game which option is Trump going to take, because that is how that works.
Yeah.
But
well, speaking on that, I mean, like the other part is that immediately after the assassination took place, Pompeo was out on TV and Trump was being quoted on things. And number one, they've made no clear idea of where this is going or an exit strategy to get out of it, which is the number one thing that you're supposed to like Rob, you're about to be in court, right? You have lawyerly things to do. You have to there's a cross of a witness, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Do you want to go in there and not know anything about the trial before you go up and talk to the witness, or do you want to know everything about the trial before you?
Well, it seems irresponsible for me to go in and start asking questions I don't already know the answer to as a lawyer in, I don't know, a family law case. So I would assume that rule applies to anyone who enters a courtroom or, a government office.
Yeah, I mean, like, I feel like you shouldn't just assassinate somebody and just be like, it'll work itself out. Eventually.
And again, the Republicans got more trash talked, well, even worse, about them for you went into Iraq with no plan to get us out of Iraq. And not only do they not have an exit strategy, but a reporter asked him directly, and there was no half answer of listen,
we're working it out, or
it's a complex situation and there's a lot of factors at play, and depending how those factors work out will depend how we will exit. He just looked at the camera and the reporter was just like, we don't need no exit strategy. I'm like, so we're occupying Iran now? Good thing our troops are already close, right next door.
Well, the number of again, just put yourself in the position where it's Obama instead of Trump for a second, and imagine for just a minute that Obama or Susan Rice had a statement where it was like, yeah, we did this, and some people are probably going to die, but, shit happens. Which is essentially the in a nutshell version of both what Trump and Pompeo said.
And isn't to say that didn't happen because, yes, Obama bombed brown children all over the world with no real plan of what was going to happen, just using drones to kill them. So, right. But nonetheless, yeah.
But I mean, like, it wasn't a targeted assassination of... It used to be that if you were going to assassinate somebody, you'd have to, send a single spy to, cut their throat or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm not so much for the drones bombing the... say...
And, I mean, there's also a difference between a...
Save that for random school children and women walking.
Arguably, you could say that a Al-Qaeda leader in the desert in a compound, much different than the second most powerful man in a country we have very, very mixed relations with.
If Mike Pence was assassinated, that's the one. That's the one that keeps getting brought up to me. Or like Pompeo, somebody up top that you know about in the U.S. government. They got assassinated by another nation. You don't think this would become an issue?
Oh, and boldly assassinated by him, too.
Yeah.
Like, bomb from a drone that could only be that country. Then they ask, and the guy's like, yup, we did it.
Put a camera on Trump, and he's just like, yup, did it again.
And here's the thing. Part of me doesn't care because I'm about to be 36. You're about to be 36, which means officially, by the way, welcome to this, cannot be drafted. Not only won't be, but cannot be.
Yeah.
Absent as I've been describing it, a Berlin in 45 situation, which just basically means
everyone goes.
We're surrounded, and it's like, hey, 3-year-old, can you hold a gun? All right, sit right here. If you see anyone,
it's
not
like Jojo
driven,
Rabbit all over again.
Yeah, basically. But I mean, like, unless we are invaded in so much as every able-bodied person goes and is fighting in their own street, not somewhere else, we will never go.
Yeah.
And that's why all of the people who work in my office, all jokey with the memes about World War III. And I was like, hey, super healthy 22-year-old guy, maybe not so much with the jokes. Hey, you're 21. Didn't you play college football last year? I feel like your draft is somewhere along an A1 plus A1 plus, meaning as soon as somebody says the word draft, you just go into a uniform. So maybe hold back with all the jokes.
Maybe some of these people can get bone spur deferments or something like that.
Oh, wait, they don't do that anymore. The only good thing that most millennials today have to look forward to is right now, antidepressants are a disqualifier for the U.S. military, which means that our available draft went from about 30 million to 3 people.
Also, they don't give you the week off to go to Coachella, so
I don't know. Here's a question. Would you volunteer?
Military acceptance is way too low. How do we get more young people to join? Tried giving them houses and education. How about Coachella tickets? Oh.
Yeah, listen. Coachella weekend 1 sold out, but guess who's got a bunch of tickets? U.S. Army! All we need you to do is sign up for a brief 8-year term, and we'll give you those Coachella tickets. Aye.
Don't worry, Beyonce will still be there when you get back.
Yeah, what they don't tell you is it's Coachella 2031, and your tickets will be there right after your term is done if you survive, the desert warfare.
Just 2 people masturbating on some turntables, and you're just like, man, music sucks these days.
Wait, I thought that was Coachella already. Is that not what Coachella is? I've been misinformed. Sorry. But yeah,
I've been wondering why everyone goes.
I will continue to joke about it because I'm basically a U.S. congressman now. It doesn't impact me at all. And I'll start caring again in, 14 years or so when Mac is getting towards draft age. Yeah. And I've got to start figuring out how I can pay for that.
Shepherding him through the 18 to 35-year-old years.
I think I'm going to take a year off, gap year. No, bro, you are going straight to college. That's the only way we're keeping you out of Iran. All right, graduate school.
Go to college in Canada.
Yep, college, graduate school, Canada. That's the order of, or the, God, let's hope by that point, the Independent Republic of California. Come here.
Maybe he gets invited to Oxford or something like that.
Oh, no, listen.
With this early preschool and all, you can't put anything.
Road school. Oh, man. Maybe he would succeed in all the ways that I failed. I'm certainly not going to put all of my wishes and hopes and dreams for my life that never came true on a young person who's 2 years old who, I may have an influence to guide. That would be crazy. Thanks, Mom.
Finishing up real quick.
Yeah, sorry, let's go.
Bolton, John Bolton, has said
God, my
that
parents don't listen to this.
he will testify in front of the Senate if they actually have a Senate trial for the impeachment.
I interrupted your point, which was if it was Obama,
Yeah.
they would have immediately gone into session
for
impeachment. Mitch McConnell would have been waiting on the floor of the House.
By the end of the day, they would have had that thing through.
Yep, and Mitch McConnell's like, all right, we're taking this for a vote. Let's go down the hallway. It would have been like Fox News cameras following him, like marching. Well, I guess
Ted Cruz would be building the guillotine outside.
Yeah.
Ted Cruz!
By the way, it's time for more My Cartoon President. If this is not a reason to bring the show back, another reason should be I have a Showtime subscription now. So, oh, wait, no. Fuck.
Stars. Yeah, the worthless one.
No, I do want to see Outlander, but anyway, go ahead. Yeah. Bolton will testify.
Bolton will testify. This would be must-watch TV if it actually happens, but right now McConnell is trying to keep any kind of actual trial from happening, but he's stepping on his own feet and doing so, so let's see what happens, I guess.
Question for Bolton's testimony. Hats not allowed on the floor of Congress. Does he have to remove both his wig and his mustache before coming in?
I think if they made people remove their wigs, there would be a lot of people in Congress who were voting.
A lot of bald
very
guys.
irrational.
A lot of bald guys. But yeah, no, his mustache is basically
just who was the guy from Maryland who ran for president? Congressman. God damn it.
not the former mayor.
No.
But this time ran for president.
Yeah.
Time?
In 2016.
Steny Hoyer?
No.
Nope, not him. Your guy from the second, right?
No. Oh God, it's good. Anyway, he's bald. And he's like, "Am I the only one playing by the rules?"
I see you over there. I see you in the cloakroom. I know that's fake.
I see you, Senator Dianne Feinstein. You ain't fooling me.
And now Corey gets hit with a slander accusation, and then in courtroom he rips off the wig that she's wearing. He's like, "Not slander." Boom! I was right. Thank you.
The governor would kindly like you to leave California. All right.
Okay.
All right.
Sorry.
Further on,
yes.
Trump trails all Democrats. Half of voters favor impeachment. Fox News poll finds.
Yeah, and this is not so important because we kind of all knew this, except for Fox News has been really good about skewing, like reporting the part of the poll that makes sense. And this gets me to the point where there must not be any good news in the poll.
I would like to say that this poll is one that you should not care about at all. Because this happens a lot with Fox News polls. And sometimes they're interesting if it's like Fox internal reporting.
Sure.
But 95% of the polls that they release are just created by internet research. And then a lot of times people will say like, "Hey, Fox News is doing this poll figuring out about impeachment. All you liberal friends should vote on it." And then they like skew the data that comes in per se.
Yeah.
The ones that I would feel more like the signs that you should point to more, I think, are like Tucker Carlson took real offense to the assassination this past week. When you're losing Tucker Carlson, like that's when you're starting to get into like a danger zone. Like, because every once in a while, Geraldo can go off reservation and say, like, I don't trust it.
Yeah.
And then they're just like, oh, crazy Geraldo with your completely independent views and opinions on what's happening in the news.
Yeah. But Tucker Carlson.
It'd be like Hannity went on tonight and just like, what's Trump doing? None of this makes sense.
Yeah, I was going to say the only way that goes to DEFCON 1 is
Hannity.
Fox and Friends and Hannity are both like, all right, listen, we gave him a lot of rope, but it looks like he's trying to hang himself.
I'm starting to think he doesn't know what he's doing.
Oh, my God. If Sean Hannity ever goes on TV and says, I'm starting to think he doesn't know what he's doing. I don't know that it will ever get better than that. I mean, that might just have to be the last bit of television I ever watched. Just like, nope. I'm good.
I'm turning on Fox News tonight.
I am done watching TV ever again. Thank you.
And then finally, just bringing her along to Hannity all the way. In an interview with the FBI, Paul Manafort said he used Fox News host Sean Hannity as a back channel to President Trump in the period between the FBI raid of his apartment and his indictment months later in October 2017. So basically what was happening was, you remember when Manafort, when they found out that Hannity had a similar, there was a conflict of interest?
Yes, yeah. Wasn't it like 6-7 years ago?
Yes, but I mean, like...
I mean, like, the news report was like 6 or 7 years ago.
Oh, about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Last fall. It was last fall. It was
Feels
last
like
fall.
6 or 7 years ago.
Feels like it.
Yeah. And this one is October 2017. So
yeah,
we got that going.
I guess that was 3 years ago.
Basically saying that Manafort was reaching out to Hannity so that Hannity could put things on his television show and reach out to Trump is really saying something about what's going on right now at Fox News. So,
by the way, what's the definition of conspiracy?
I mean, like a legal definition of conspiracy?
Two or more people attempting to, or attempting, planning, or taking a major step towards committing a crime.
Yeah, but I think the crime part would be the problem. Because what, you know, like there's very few crimes where I can be convicted of telling you to do it.
Yeah.
Unless I'm like directing you to do it.
Yeah.
Like if I said like, hey, I'm going to give you $100, go burn down that house, then I'm in trouble.
Yes.
But if I said, hey, you know what would be a really fun thing to do is burn down that house, and you did it and I didn't have anything to do with it.
I just suggested something.
I just said it out loud. I thought it was a joke and Rob took it way too serious.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's sort of, you know.
But do we have to consider the source? Because the end result of this is Trump, who again was given 3 options, one of which was absolutely insane, and he said, "Let's do that." So
that's why he went to Hannity, so he'd only have the one option to choose. Hannity says it's got to be true.
Yeah, it's like I think one of the bigger deal is that there was something about do not contact the administration, do not contact the president, blah blah blah, and he back channeled a way into getting his message to the president through Hannity. But not like Hannity called the president. Like Hannity went on TV and said things. And we know for sure that the president saw it and was influenced by it because, again, he was given 3 options and one of them was absolutely insane. And he chose that option.
America, America.
Like my and here's the thing. Like it's been brought up and I think it's like a little too casual. Sometimes presidents will go on a little military campaign right before their re-election because it's one of those things, right? Like you can get an easy win. Reagan went into Grenada. Was it Grenada?
Yeah, I mean,
like 84.
This is it's a wag the dog situation.
Yeah.
So,
and the problem though is Reagan went into Grenada, whatever it is. Bush went into Panama. Clinton was in the Balkans basically the whole time, but like we pulled out in 95 right before the re-election. Like we won. Here we go. We're out.
Kosovo and
Kosovo, Bosnia, Herzegovina, Macedonia, and Bush never pulled out of anything ever. No exit strategy. Obama.
We're still in Bush's wars.
Yes. Obama just bombed children in third world countries. But my point is, before Bush, it was very much low-key, like, we're going to go in a place that is not a lot of cleanup, and we're just going to make a big scene.
We're going to get a clean victory here.
Yeah, we're going to win. We don't bomb.
We're Ohio State playing Alcorn State early on in the season.
Yeah, just dominate them.
Just getting a good little easy win out of the way.
Yeah. We don't go to the place where where Obama was warming relations, and it looked like things were getting better, but obviously it's still a Muslim country, which... It means that there's still a lot of stuff left over about Afghanistan and Iraq and bomb their holy sites
and Muslim
their second
bans.
most important person.
Yeah.
We don't do that because that is not a re-election campaign. That is, I'm going to get voted out in November. So screw you guys. Good luck with that whole Iran situation.
Well, you know, I think it just dawned on me where this is all leading.
Okay.
Because the Trump voters have very short memory.
Yes, they do.
Like goldfish memory.
Yep.
So maybe where this is going is Trump starts in a war with Iran now, and 6 months from now they completely forget that Trump started it, and then he goes, "Look at what happened with the failed Iran nuclear deal that Obama negotiated," and then all the people are like, "That's right, Obama had something to do with Iran." It's just like, you should blame Obama for all this problem. I don't want to be in the middle of a war right now. I just want to be the peacetime president. But fucking Obama ruined it all. Like, that's 100% where this is going. We're just going to wait until people forget that Trump he's going to do 97,000 other crazy things between now and 6 months from now.
Yeah.
And we're going to forget about this part.
If that is his plan, that is someone else's plan, because that is way too well thought out and way too planned into the future to ever be a plan of Donald Trump.
I don't know. I feel like he's like, we got to get involved with Iran somehow so I can tag Obama with this one.
Now, now it does occur to me that although he is generally an idiot, it does seem to be a criminal savant. And just finding ways to break the law and try to get out of it. So,
well, not only that, he just finds a way to say things that like get forgotten about, and like there's no like the problem is that like the going home for Christmas or something like that and talking with relatives about like politics and stuff like that.
I don't do that. No,
it's just like any conversation where it's just like, well, why is it such a bad, or like why does Devin Nunes have to recuse himself on the impeachment thing? It's just like, oh my God! All right, so how far do we have to go back to explain this whole story to you? And then
Ronald Reagan got elected.
You're in like
president.
a 47-point statement of like why it's all bad, and then you forget like the most important part, and then you call him up like a week later and just like, oh yeah, and by the way, flew to Italy to meet with a disgraced prosecutor. That happened too. Anywho, you know where you can find. You know where you can find more illuminating political news that won't surely depress you?
Where's that?
TheAnthem.com. Core to TheAnthem.com. With the Anthem of Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and the listener line, 443-219-7595.
What's the number again?
443-219-7595. The new and improved TheAnthem.com.
There you go.
If you go online tomorrow and it's not new and improved, then come back a little bit later and it will be. But everyone go check out the site because I put a lot of work into it. It would mean something if I had more than like 2 views.
Do we have a count? We have a counter at the bottom, like it's 1998.
How many views of it?
17 unique visitors. Yes.
I ever wonder if the people at like Tide or whatever are just like looking at that going like, why can't we get our numbers up?
Why aren't we Wendy's?
I just did a review for Cats that will be released shortly. Unfortunately, all the time that I was going to spend editing that video went into fixing the website today, so slightly delayed, but a Cats review for you to enjoy. And then I want to go see 1917 like right away tomorrow, so let's figure that out as well.
Yeah, we should go find where it's playing.
Yeah.
And of course, you can find all of that at CoreyBakerFilmmaker.com.
Correct.
And YouTube.
At LegendsB5 on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat.
And YouTube.com/CoreyBakerFilm.
No.
No?
No.
No! What happened?
I never had it.
Oh, you can get it now.
Oh, can I?
Yeah, you just have to talk to your representatives at Create Music Network,
Oh, well, let's do this already.
where we are now a member.
Yeah.
Each of our personal channels and the Anthem channel, part of the Create Music Group Network.
Hooray.
So, just remind me. I'll
Okay.
have somebody look into that tomorrow. Where was I going with that? Oh, yeah. Hey, you can find more of me at Robert and Cheek on all your social networks. Oh, here, give me the one shot. Robert and Cheek.
Get this guy out of here.
Since it wasn't on for the first 2 minutes of the Robert and Cheek at all your social networks.
The best 2 minutes this podcast ever had.
And, of course, you can find my reviews at youtube.com/RobCheek. I had a Cats review that went up last Thursday. It was, more timely. It's too bad we saw that on different days. That yours is so delayed.
Well, I also have to make a featurette about the AMC Burbank 16, too, which is something you're not doing in your reviews. So.
No, I am not.
Yeah.
Yes. But Jumanji, the next level review, also up right now, so get that checked out. And new review on Thursday. New videos coming all the way on. We are working on a bunch of other stuff. We have 1 month left to shoot a couple pilots that we keep saying we're going to shoot, so we'll get on that eventually. But you can find more of me at Robert and Cheek, robertandcheek.com. Of course, we can find links to political blog and the books that are available on Amazon.
Buy Rob's books.
Thank you. And of course, I can't say enough. Now that I'm talking, let me get my shot. Yeah, can't say enough. Corey has done so much good work on the Spreadshirt store. A lot of things you're going to find there are also just T-shirts or totes or hats with the book logos on them. So if you have a book that you particularly liked, you can get that there. I promise you in 2020, here's a resolution, since this is the second show, it makes perfect sense to do it, of the new year, that I am going to make sure to have all of the previous books edited, which we now have the rights back to the entire time. We're going to edit all of those and get them back up by the end of the year. And I would like to do an audiobook version of all of those, although I feel like that's ambitious.
I say let's try one and see how it works,
Yeah.
and then figure out whether or not we are getting ourselves way in too deep on something that.
I do feel like I'm about to have a lot more free time. So I feel like it'll just be, hey, what are you up to? Let's go shoot something. Or let's record 5 chapters of my 110 chapter book. But anyway, yeah, so we got a lot of exciting stuff coming. It is chilly and dead in Los Angeles right now as far as the film and the weather is concerned. But things will be heating up for summer, and I'm hoping that we will get back in the swing of things and get some things shot and out there.
I actually have a feature started next week, so.
Well, there you go. So don't look for that for your consideration drop anytime soon. That'll be up eventually.
Whenever Roberto returns.
Yeah, I will say I am gonna also revamp my website. We use Muse for the current website, which apparently is not available anymore. And that means, I think I said this last week, I have to learn Illustrator or something similar to build a
Dreamweaver.
Dreamweaver to build a website. So it's like how the website looks now, how it's going to look for a while, and then I'll learn the new thing and I'll get a new version up. But Muse was so easy to use.
Yeah.
It really sucks they're not doing it anymore. But anyway.
Anywho, I think we've done good here today.
We've done something. I don't know if it's good. But as always, you are listening to the The Anthem podcast, part of the The Anthem Digital Network, for the 300th consecutive time. No, fuck, no, I forgot the outro.
Thank you for joining us.
Oh, thank you for joining us. Have a great week, everybody.
I wish I knew one other quote from 300. I would throw it out there.
Well, what's the one? The
This is Sparta.
Oh, that's right.
I did that at the beginning. So.
Come back with your shield or on it.
There we go. Bye, everybody.